It's Monday morning and we're in the yard and we're trying to start the 586, which hasn't started in a while. On Saturday of Weekly last week, the engineer popped in late in the day after we had filmed and the machine looked like it was working well, but we've come in this morning and we can't get it started, but we think the battery is dead, so we've connected the 914 to it. Flo's just gone to grab some oil because we checked all of the oils and one of them is a bit low. Aside from this, we are beginning to swap over the bits between the old and new Volvo engines, but I've had to request a drawing from Volvo because there's issues with the water pipes and my townie needs to get his head around what water pipes we need to buy new and what gaskets and seals we need. This stuff here, that's not too good. Just dig out the clay, take it out, fill this in so it's not a trip hazard anymore. You don't have to compact it because it will compact on its own. Let's just take out a little bit of the bad stuff and then we're just gonna level it and fill in the holes in case a car drives in here or a van so it doesn't fall in there. Someone's coming to look at this pump today. Take the pump and put the pump in the car park. We need the space. And then take the tipper on the end and put here because I need clear line of sight. This concrete lorry and that concrete lorry is staying. When you move them, leave them running for like half an hour just so the battery can charge, and then afterwards turn it off and make sure the keys go in the safe. Fired up, fired up, fired up, fired up, fired up. What was it?
I'd say it's because of them filters. The orange should have them filters in tomorrow.
Teo, put your foot down. Let me hear it. That sounds much better, doesn't it? We need to see how much hydraulic oil. There we go, minimum. Okay. Machine ain't level, but you're way below minimum. Now that sounds a lot better. How much gear have we got coming in today?
Could be a couple of 100 tons.
Simon's got a breakdown of every single lorry and the registration and the weight which has come in on every single job. Now we're just compiling our report to the Environmental Agency and we're not going to give them all the registrations because they couldn't care less about all that information. But one of size documents feeds into another document and we can see per job exactly how much material came in. And then we have the train listed of all the material and the codes of exactly how much material went out and the destination it went to. Now we have to do these environmental reports quarterly. We're keeping on top of it. So on the day of submission, we're not scrambling all around the place. And you know that Simon loves a bit of paperwork, innit? I flash back to Weekly for those of you who have been with us a long time. But Simon, you need to shout out. No way! Is that what the window did? And watch carefully and slow it down when Simon pushed me. He wants to throw me out the way bridge. He pushed me because he was that upset.
Yeah.
a contractor coming in to concrete the first area in about 3 weeks. But what we're probably going to do for speed, the current car park, we're going to keep the sand and stone there. They were a little bit worried that we couldn't keep up with 150 cube a day with 2 lorries, but I've explained to them that the lorries aren't going out on the road, so like you haven't got to worry. Flo can operate the Reimer gear on the back of both lorries, so that's not a problem. And the other lads will load, so we'll have one load in and one discharge in, one load in, one discharge in, like we used to do. We'll load them all up the night before. Now, Si, I'm not saying that I don't trust anyone, because I do. Every single lorry of sand and stone that comes in here over the weighbridge, and the cement lorries.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. No.
I'm not saying I don't trust anyone. I'm just saying that we've got a weighbridge.
That's it, why we use it.
And why wouldn't we use our weighbridge? That's all I'm saying, Si.
100%.
We're preparing to start concreting in the yard. Now the weather is a lot better. I'm going to be honest, man, it was a tough winter for us. Like, it was a really bad and wet winter, which we struggled with. But now the sun is up and the yard's beginning to dry out. As Martani would say,
The dust in here is cruel, lad.
so now we're doing dust mitigation, and the same water what we didn't want on the floor before, we're now sprinkling water in the yard to stop the dust. I'm not sure what problem's worse, mud or dust, but
I'll take the dust all day long. I'll take the dust.
either way, we're going to have to sort it out, because someone's going to be upset with us somewhere. I have a spreadsheet here which calculates, based on the mix, which is on the left-hand side, how much sand, stone, and cement is needed in order to make the required concrete. Click here to watch a video where we talk about the engineering, and you'll see the amount of concrete we had to pour in the yard to create the train track. That was a C50. In the rest of the yard on the ground, we are going for a C40. I can tell that the sand is 877 kilograms per cubic meter, and 1,070 kilograms are needed of stone. If I go over here, I can see the cement. We will need 345 kilograms of cement per cubic meter. So if I come up to the top here, because I'm an Excel whiz kid spreadsheet geek, if I type in, roughly speaking, if I type in 30 £30 a ton delivered into the yard, boom, all those numbers are calculated. And the sand, if I look here, within the C40 per cubic meter, we have £26 and 31 pence of sand. Let's do the stone. Let's say the stone is a little bit more expensive. Let's call it 32 squids. Boom. So we can see in 1 cubic meter of C40, the total stone will cost us £34 and 24 pence. Altogether, sand and stone will cost us £60 and 55 pence. So we go to the cement. Let's type in £180 for 1 ton of cement. Boom. So the 345 kilograms of cement will cost us £62 and 10 pence, because 1 ton is £180. And we will see that C40 is going to cost us £122 and 65 pence. So now I can go to the majors and all the independent local companies and ask what they would charge to supply concrete to this yard over a 12-month period, which is going to be 5 acres in total, possibly a thickness in most areas of 300 mil. It's a lot of concrete. Maybe they want to take a long view and they want to give us a very cheap price, or maybe it makes more sense for us to keep our 2 lorries and for us to pour it. Now, we will have expenses associated with it, but not the expenses that they will have of transportation and diesel and drivers. So we'll see what quotations come in and the best way financially to move forward. And now let's head to central London and see how the lads are getting on. We continue in with the build up of the flooring levels in both bedrooms at the same time. First, we fit the acoustic strip to the perimeter walls using a staple gun. Then it's the acoustic flooring boards, which are made up of a 10mm rubber and 7mm MDF. The boards are not fixed to the chipboard below, but are glued and inserted into each other so they float. Next is the 5mm underfloor heating underlay, which is slot into place and then taped together using aluminium foil. This will act as a thermal barrier, minimizing heat loss downwards and directing heat upwards where it's needed. Then it's the electric underfloor heating mat, which is rolled out. It's 1 meter wide and only fitted in areas where it will be walked on, not under the bed or any cupboards. We need to do very small cutouts in the underlay for electrical junction boxes and cut grooves to sink cables in for protection. On top of the underfloor heating mat is a 0.1mm polyester vapor wrap. This is a protective layer which prevents moisture from reaching the heating elements and potentially damaging them. All is taped down in place and we're ready for the next layer, which will be engineered wood flooring.
I've always been obsessed with ancient civilizations and archaeology since I was a child and never knew why. How they built and how they fought. When building a brick wall, I think of the pyramids. And when training, I think of the Spartans. I come from mixed origins. My mother is St. Lucian, and I didn't know a lot about my father, so I thought I would investigate. So I teamed up with my heritage and ordered myself a DNA test kit. It's easy to use, a simple cheek swab, takes 2 minutes, then put it in the post and wait for the results. Let's have a regroup when the results arrive. It's Tuesday. I'm in the yard. I was watching Weekly and working last night. I must have dozed off at my desk. I had the strangest dream. Was it a premonition? Anyway, I'm going to be having a shower soon and leaving the yard and head into a meeting on the refurbishment project where we are discussing all of the changes in the bathrooms based on the meetings which we've had in the last couple of weeks and discussing remobilization and going back to site so we can finish the project. As the weather is fantastic now, we'll also be able to continue the work outside. We are resubmitted the planning permission for the pool house, so that is also bubbling away at the same time. At the penthouse project, we've had some drawings come through from a mate Johnny at Lux Casa in Scotland. These are the wardrobes for the bedrooms. And this is the media unit, which is going to fit in the living room. So we just need the client to approve. The cupboards are going to be a lacquered white finish, and the media unit, we're going through color options at the moment, but it's going to be a veneered MDF. I don't feel right. I definitely need more sleep, but duty calls. Anyway, Tuesday, and at the moment, we're in the yard, I think.
It's time to fit the fireplace. First, we measure all the angles on the floor and ceiling, then cross-reference, marking up the exact location of the fireplace to sit perfectly in the middle of the peak in the ceiling. We then build up the floor levels using concrete blocks. This is a gas fireplace. We've run a 15mm copper feed, and the installers have reduced down to 10mm to connect and supply. The unit is put in place and the stainless steel flue connected. The fireplace will simulate a wood-burning fire without the maintenance and risk associated with one. Light fittings internally replicate the colour of fire burning, and timber props made from clay are used to finish off the simulation. The unit is then completely sealed, and heat will only radiate from the glass once it's fully operational. Everything is controlled by handheld remote and can be adjusted at the touch of a button. Now it's for us to box in this unit completely.
Michael, my brother.
You look older than me. You probably want the next yard on your left-hand side. I think they're in the next yard. There's no one in here to take them.
How are you getting on with them skip lorries that you nicked off me for nothing?
I paid far too much for one and probably give the right price for the other, but that's another matter to be taken up at a later date.
So how do you feel about my decision now to get rid of my lorries?
I'll say you made probably a half right one. I would have kept a couple to poodle about with.
I'm not sure how I feel about poodling about, but yeah.
You're already doing the poodling.
Very good, Michael. Thank you. I'm looking forward to not Friday, the Friday after.
Hey! Yes, definitely. I am as well.
And do me a favour, for the first time in your life, bring your wallet so you can at least pay for one round of drinks.
No.
Please,
That's too
mate.
expensive for me down there. Is there a Witherspoon near there?
I don't know, but I'd say they're pretty spread out across London, so there probably is. But bring the wallet and the crowbar to open it.
Is Foxy coming?
Foxy is coming. What do you call it? His mode of transportation in the air?
The Heligo Peter.
The Heligo Peter. He hasn't said he's coming in the Heligo Peter yet, but I'm not sure he'll be able to land it in central London.
They can land it with me and get lifted down with us. However, I don't know if my sister is she joining us, is she?
Our sister's going, so you'll be half well behaved. You ain't going to throw any chairs at anyone. You ain't going to...
No, I've stopped all that now. I'm proper well behaved now. Hey! Try and keep away from all them type of people now that upset me.
Keep away from them, but you were the one causing the altercations.
Nah, not really. Hang on. Skip call, gotta go.
Michael, my brother, I'll speak to you at a later date. He's put the phone down. I'd like to catch up with Michael to see if it is in fact busier out there. I had a visit about 20 minutes ago from a gentleman who said that they are much busier, their company's national, and they are much busier in the north of the country around Birmingham and Manchester than they are down here. They said London at the moment is a bit of a myth and they're not making anything at all. So a lot of the lorries they had down here, they're actually trying to reposition the drivers within the company and then moving those lorries up to the north of the country where they can be busy. I have a couple more emails to do and then I am heading out for the rest of the day. And that's it for Tuesday. It's Wednesday morning. And we're in the yard. The ripping and stripping and moving over of parts and fittings continues on the engines. We have swapped the ECUs. This is the one from our original engine, and the one that came on the used engine has been put on here. We have moved the engine mounting brackets. Our clutch has been moved over to this side. The new spigot bearing we've got is in here. We have moved over the exhaust from our one, and the old one looks like it might have had water sitting in it. We've gone through the drawings from Volvo, and we need number 22 and 10 for this drawing, our water pipes and gaskets. And if we move over, we need number 16, 18, 22 from this drawing. And then we need a new fan and alternator belt. While we're doing it, we may as well. And we've ordered the oil and fuel filters. We're going to put all of that back together, and my townie is preparing to drop the engine back in at a time when I am not here. Like, so I can't be around trying to film it because he thinks I get in the way with my camera. And now let's head into central London and see how the lads are getting on. Time for the top and final level of flooring, which is engineered wood. It's 20mm thick and each plank is 180mm wide. The flooring is tongue and groove, which means it interlocks through ridges and hollows on the edges. It's fitted together by gluing, slotting in place, and using adjustable strap clamps to hold until the glue dries. Trying to plan more trains, been in discussions with the weighing system manufacturer. Now, they gave me a quote to put in our own system, which is the same one which you saw, which the rail operator kindly installed temporarily for us to weigh our very first train. Click here to watch a video. However, the manufacturer has said the best way to do it is for them to actually come in and install it themselves, how they would install it, because it's obviously going to be slightly different from how someone who installs them day to day for a third party does it. And then we're going to monitor a train coming in and out with the actual people who make this system, because they say there are guidelines and ways in which they would do it, which someone else who doesn't work within their company may not. They're going to give me the date, and then we're going to be calling the train operator and our friends at FCC right away to try and book in a train as soon as we can afterwards, because I believe in the next few weeks there is a decent sized job which is going to start. So we are pushing now to finish all the processing in the yard to make as much space as we can, because when that job starts, it could be one train a day for the foreseeable future. Our friends at BFA have turned up to collect a scrap bin, but while they're here, we've asked them to do us a favour and move around a couple of our bins. Now we play a little guessing game of how much the bin's gonna weigh. Guess!
Yes, Si, how many tons? 4 ton. Flo, how much? 5, yeah? 6. All right, here we go.
My results are now ready through the MyHeritage app. Before I go in there, I'm trying to think in my head, what will I find? There must be some kind of crusader, warrior, hero somewhere in my bloodline. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be broken down into percentages over 42 supported ethnicities and 2,114 geographic regions. Let's have a look. DNA. Whoa! Wait, this is explaining a lot, you know? 31.1% Scandinavian. All I read there is Viking. 27.1 Nigeria. All I see there is Wakanda. And 39.8% 6 other ethnicities. Whoa, let's view the full estimate. We've got Scandinavian, we've got Irish, Scottish and Welsh. We've got Iberian, Greek and South Italian. Yanni, you'll be very happy. Italiano. And from Africa, 27.1 Nigerian, 12.9% Sierra Leonean, and from Central Africa, 8%. So I am from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ethnicities. But the main one being Nigerian and Scandinavian. So basically, I have discovered that I'm a Nigerian Viking. I'm now going to spend some time piecing together my family tree and history. And don't worry, MyHeritage have a committed privacy policy to never license or sell any of your genetic data. If you're interested in your DNA, piecing together your family tree, or learning more about your family history, order your DNA test kit from the link in the description using the code Ashville.
They're here. It's Thursday and we're in the yard. Liebherr have arrived. They have to remove the bucket from the LH60, measure the arms, and they have to do some work on the ECU. The weights should be here by about 10 a.m. The time now is 8 a.m. And then they need to create some sort of sling in order to be able to pick up the weights for the calibration. At the same time, we're just washing off the pump lorry because it's been purchased and someone is coming to collect it. And in about 2 hours, we are going to be dropping the engine back in the volumetric. A while back, a new extended stick was fitted on the LH60. Click here to watch that video. As the size, weight and capabilities of the stick have changed, a software update and calibration is required. However, this cannot be carried out by our regular Liebherr technicians as they don't have access or authorization to this software. So, a factory inspector all the way from Germany has visited today to carry out the works. To verify accuracy, certified weights are required, so these have been rented for the day. One at 15 tons and another at 7.5 tons. An industrial load cell is connected to a D-shackle to the end of the dipper arm, and another D-shackle at the other end connects to a set of 4 brother chains to lift the load. The load cell gives a digital reading of the working load from 1 ton to a maximum of 20 tons with 0.3% accuracy. The factory inspector goes through a range of movements with each weight and then uses the readings to reset the weigher in the machine. This ensures readings are reliable and within acceptable tolerances, which is crucial for both safety and compliance.
The L860 has now been calibrated. You saw a couple of months back all the work we did changing the bolts on the slew ring and earthing the controls. The L860 is now 1000%. It makes me think, do you know what? Since we've had the L860, there was a period when we were doing a train a day, a 6C, which was going into HS2. In about 5 months, we did 150,000 ton. There were other times when we were getting in sand and gravel, but for the 480 grand I paid for that machine, have we really used the L860 to its full potential? It's only got 2,000 hours on it. So I would say no, we haven't. Hopefully now, in the new yard with the permit and loading trains, we can use it a little bit more. But really and truly, that L860 is meant to be flat out. That's meant to be loading 2 trains a day. That's what it was built for. We just haven't managed to reach those dizzy heights as of yet. Speaking of dizzy heights, we're going to throw the drone up now because we are going to attempt to drop the engine back into the Volvo Volumetric. We have connected the mounting brackets here. We need to put the compressor and the alternator on, and then we can put on the belts. Run around. We have connected the exhaust and water pipes are all on. So probably another day or day and a half of connecting, and then we'll try to fire it up. There are some slight differences, even though they're the same year, between the fuel filter numbers. Now, my townie says that even Volvos of the same year, same engine, sometimes the filter housing changes, so then it's a different fuel filter you use. So we'll wait till we get a little bit further along, and then we'll do one more order from Volvo. Now, the old engine will need to go back to F&J Exports, but we're not going to do that until we have fired up the new one, just in case there are any more bits we need to take off this and fit onto there. As the yard's drying out, we're doing a little bit of maintenance. There's been this wet, soggy, damp patch right next to the fuel tank, which we've been fighting with all of the winter. Now it's really, really dried out. So we're taking out all the loose bits of slop. We're moving it to another part of the yard where we can pile it and it will dry out. And we're going to put down some of the finest 6F5 in these areas to take out all of the bumps. And because they're so stony, it should provide some drainage also, so this doesn't happen again. But before the winter steps in, this area will be concreted, so it shouldn't be a problem moving forward. This is the main problem here. See this? It's like falling off a cliff. This right here. And if you can see it from here, this dip, there's an old concrete slab hidden there, and then there's a big drop. We can scrape out all the bits and pieces and then fill this with some good stone. Yeah, Flo, a bit more, mate. We're gonna have to get this out here.
fine. I will do that flow and then pump this up. It's Friday and we're in the yard. I saw the LH60 tracking around and noticed that this track, well, there's a little bit more slack than the other side. We're just gonna clean her out quickly and then pump this track full of grease so we can try to get the slack you can see here. I'm not gonna lift it obviously, so it looks like the other side. Next on the agenda is this area in between the 6F5 and the rail line. We dotted a couple of blocks here because all the swampy material was falling into this area because it was the lowest point. But now with the sun shining, it's completely dried out and I could walk on it. So what we're gonna do is get the 914 here and completely dig all of this out until we get to solid ground, and then we're gonna take the 6F5 and throw the 6F5 in the ground. We're then gonna take this material, move it to another part of the yard and turn it over so this beautiful weather, I think we're about 19 degrees, can dry this material out even more. Got a meeting on Monday with a freight operator and a new supplier of aggregates who gave us a price last week to bring in some primary material. But in order to reduce the rate, they're going to have a measure up for a jumbo train, which is going to be 40 wagons plus. Now I believe we can probably fit about 41 in here, but I'll let them get their little measuring wheel out and work it out. As with most things, it's taken a little longer than I would hope, but you know, what can you do? These things take time, and if we go through this process, then once we get started, everything should continue to run smoothly. As part of our works, we reduced the height of one of the windows in the kitchen to create more usable space internally. The lead is used around all other windows and bifold openings, and we're continuing in the same manner using code 4 lead, which covers our plyboarding and creates a waterproof barrier. We brought in a specialist to carry out these works, as welding lead is not something we do. We start the decking on the kitchen side using a string line for guidance. The eye is drawn to the balustrade, so we decide that the side touching the house will have the majority of the offcuts. The little black clips you can see are composite decking fixings. These T-clips fit between the grooves on the boards and use stainless steel screws to hold in place, screwing directly into the joists of the subframe. This means the decking will be firmly secured without any screw holes running through them centrally. Meanwhile, back at the Ashville yard. The yard today is ending on a good note. We were tracking the material, flattening it. Having a look now, we're going to add some more in the morning and track over that just to build up the level a little bit more. But away from the yard, just had a conversation, and I was on an email chain where decisions were being made based on misinformation, and there were conversations going on which we are fundamental in the end goal and we weren't on the Zoom for some reason, and information was spoken about which is incorrect in the meeting, which then made the whole thing more difficult and set it back. But had we been on the call, none of that would have happened because I would have set everyone straight. Now I've got to spend my evenings sending big long emails explaining that it's incorrect and providing evidence when I'm not the one who provided the misinformation. Had you put me on the call, none of this would have even happened, but you know what it is. This is the corporate world of liability and blame game that we now live in. And that's it for Thursday. Saturday, and I'm in the yard in sunny West Drayton, and we have concluded our excavations and we've got all the slop out of here. Now we've got down to the hard and granular material. We're now going to begin to bring some 6F5 in just to bring it up a bit higher, because we want to ensure that if there are any lorries here very early on Monday morning, that we've already filled it so there's not any gaping holes that somebody could fall in that they're not aware of. Look at the difference in the level from here. Look at that, it's not only half a meter. And here you can see, as our track slab, look at the natural drainage. What's going to happen, we're going to begin to concrete over that area, and a slab is going to come over to this point, and then from here, another slab is going to run that way, and we're going to have our drainage around this sort of area. You can see naturally that that's the gradient of the ground, but by the time we add our 300mm thick slab, conduit, whatever it is, we're going to be sitting probably, if we look at it as side profile, probably around here. These were the blocks which we were using to section off this area while all of the swampy gear was drying out. And now this is going to end up getting broken down and being processed with the rest of the blocks. Ooh, some ballast in here as well. Look at this. Some ballasty gear. And here, there's pockets of different material absolutely everywhere here. If there were larger pockets of this, I would have extracted this and somebody would have come and collected it who could have processed it and washed it. Probably the best way is start to, once the machines raise this level here, is to probably track towards the 6F5 and start to pull material here. And then when we start processing more material, we'll probably come out this way with it a bit. Still here, there and everywhere in the yard, but things are beginning to take shape. And I'm probably going to put more focus going back down the route of property development. If you remember, a long time ago, I did a showcase on a single unit which was converted into 3 dwellings on the next road over from the, I'd say, room where I grew up. Click here to watch that video. Construction's always been my passion, as much as lorries and machines, but the lorries and machines business-wise were really a byproduct of serving the construction company. And I'm trying to do things, the key is trying to do things which I want to do and which I like, as opposed to putting myself in a position where I have to do things. Of course, there are always going to be things which you have to do to succeed, but I would like to at least go in the direction of what I want to do. I'm working on the appraisals, which I will share once I have put all of them together. But truth be told, the residential market in the UK isn't fantastic at the moment. So I'm exploring all options. Alongside that, I'm preparing an email for Monday morning because we received notification that a new non-hazardous job is going to begin to come into us next week for a company which haven't been into us before, but I know one of the people who run the company. So I'm going to drop him an email for Monday morning saying Next week, when you're coming in to tip off the non-haz, we have the finest of 6F5 if you would like to get yourself a backload and collect, while I'm trying to organize a train of some primary material so we can also offer people those options as well. And that's it for Ashville Weekly episode 235. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click down here to see an Ashville video you may not have seen before. And click down here for last week's episode, which was number 234. I just feel drawn back to the developing and the construction. Remember, if you're interested in your DNA or trying to piece together your family history, click the link in the description and visit MyHeritage using the code Ashville for your 30-day free trial and 10% discount. But is there money in residential development in UK? That is the question.